how long will it take for me to be cured? Can you give me, she wanted me to give her an exact date as to when she will feel better.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love.
If you're thinking about having therapy or getting therapy, I strongly recommend that your therapist is trauma qualified, at least in the fact of them knowing about the window of tolerance and how that is. And it's about managing daily, really. It's about it's about managing the emotions and how that feels. So it's very much linked to the body and the emotions and how you are, what you're thinking, and all of that, all the body and the mind linking. And I know it can be daunting to go to therapy. From my perspective, it's always starting where you are now, because you may be thinking, I don't even know where to start. I don't know if I can, if I can open up. But if we start in the here and now as to what symptoms that you have at the moment, then it will naturally lead us, pull a thread back to another time in your life, and which I go back to childhood generally, and that's what's important in my opinion. And so to be able to engage in therapy does also build on trust as well. So it's a we us, not a I know more than you. It's more you are the, you know more about you than I do, and it's about working together, and simply me bringing some trauma knowledge that it has been done for decades by some great trauma therapists whom I've learned from. So that would be the main key for me, is when engaging, is to ensure at least they know, they or ask them to explain what they know about trauma, and what qualifications they have, and give them a snippet, and that would be my recommendation for that. In my experience, the expectations of a therapist is much like going to the doctor, that you're going to walk in and to be cured. So you go to the doctor, for instance, you tell him your symptoms and he writes you a prescription, and that particular ailment that you went to clears up. In therapy, I know that there is an expectation that once you leave, you will have the same cure. I had an experience with a client that I had who said, how long will it take for me to be cured? Can you give me, she wanted me to give her an exact date as to when she will feel better. And I was honest with her and said, that isn't something that I'm able to do. Unbeknown to me at that point, she felt very disappointed in me and didn't want to come back and see me, and didn't. And she went back to the doctor and said, well, she was unable to tell me when I'd be cured. And so the doctor did speak to her and said, I think you should go back and speak to her. And so she did, and we worked together for quite some time after that. And she realised that it wasn't for me to ensure that she was cured at a specific date, but for us to work together, enabling to make those connections as to why she was feeling the way she was feeling. And she came to realise that actually, of course, Mandy, you're not going to be able to tell me an exact date, because again, life events happen as well, which knock us back again. And it's about building resilience around the trauma is what is key for me anyway, as in the way that I work, is having those tools in your toolkit, emotional toolkit, so that when events do happen, that you have them to fall back on, and not one thing works, hence the toolkit. Hence the toolbox. And so that's what's powerful, and also not one thing fits everyone. And so what became quite a saddened event in the fact that she felt I'd failed her as a therapist, in the end turned out to be how thankful she was and how resilient she'd become in us working together and trying to unpick different things. And so just wanting you to be mindful of what expectations you have as for your therapist. And so I always start with that fact that what is your expectations, and that I'm not somebody that is going to be able to give you an end date as to when you'll feel better, but I certainly will be able to walk alongside you and provide you with all the knowledge and who I've learned all it from as well, and pass that down to you to build up your emotional toolbox, to build resilience around your trauma, your traumas, your adverse childhood experiences, to enable you to be freer. I can give someone an end date of finishing with therapy, but I'm unable to say that in a year's time you will feel better. I would hope that you will be feeling more resilient, but I can't give an end date at a specific time as to when you will feel better, because the reason why I don't like to use that terminology, and I don't like to use that, is because we then you're setting yourself up for potential. If you don't reach that goal by that date, you then think that you failed, and so therefore you beat yourself up again, because, well, I didn't achieve this, so there must be something wrong with me. And so that's why I like more the fact of the holistic approach, in the fact of building resilience around it, rather than it being we can't take anything away that's happened to us. We just can't do that. But we can loosen the grip that it has on us, which is overall beneficial for our health. But that is an ongoing process, and so that's why I don't put an expiration date on as to when you will be better, because I don't want to set someone up to fail in case they feel. It depends on what expectations they have on themselves anyway, but that could be really harshly damaging, hence why I don't give a timeline.